Okay, I'm just gonna do a quick video, just because when I list this thing, it's easy to forget everything I've kind of done to this guy. So I'm selling the truck and the trailer together. I would possibly sell the trailer first if somebody was interested in just the trailer, but I'm gonna sell the truck before the trailer, and I'd like to sell them both at the same time. It's ready to rock. I mean, you can get in this thing and haul. If you're wanting to get into transporting, this is the setup. That's basically what I built the truck to do. Obviously it's already a stout truck, but it was an original 2500 Cummins diesel four-wheel drive. I put the flatbed, the very first things I did to this thing was I put a flatbed on it, and then I put a dually under the dually came out of a 2008 Dodge Ram 3500, and they bolt right in. That's what's really neat about these Dodges. So the truck has got 269,000 miles on it. It's had everything done as far as maintenance, injectors within the last 3 years. Just did a new radiator, water pump, and then a whole bunch of extra stuff that I've done just to kind of make, as I learned each time when I towed, oh, I like to have this, or I like to have this on it. So the trailer is a done right 36-foot trailer. The axles are straight, solid. I just did all new bearings. Actually, to the back, I did new bearings on 4 of the wheels and tires 2 years ago, and then I just did the other 2 last week. So those are all new. Tires are decent on them. They were put on within a year and a half. It's a triple axle. They're rated at 7,000 pounds each, so 21,000 pounds combined, and then the trailer is probably 6,000 pounds. And I've been blessed with this thing because it's really set up well. The deck is decent in the front. It's starting to get a little worn in the rear. I'd say it's still fine, but you know, if that's something you care about, then obviously do those. I kind of screwed my ramp up. It's not really, I mean, it works just fine, but it's kind of bent. And I'd be quite honest with you, that's the only thing I hate about this trailer is those stupid ramps. They weigh a shit ton. So I was always planning on buying a set of aluminum ramps, and I just never got around to it. The trailer, I rarely use the trailer, but when I do, I use it. You know what I mean? Like, it sits most of the time. But I just went out to Iowa with it last week. Went out to Davenport and picked up a shuttle bus and brought it back, and it did great. So it tows great. It tows straight. No issues there. I put a 12,000 pound winch on it, on the trailer. That does work. It's got a connection into an auxiliary battery box here. So you can wire the truck. I don't have it right now. It's ready to go as far as 12 volt. You just need to run a 12 volt from the battery back. I just never did it because the battery, if I had a good enough battery in there, it seemed to be fine. But it'd probably be a good idea to do. That does work well. And I got a call coming in, but I think I can call her back. And then I wasn't going to include this stuff, but we can work it out. Their straps are kind of expensive. Chains are really expensive. But if it's something, I will figure it out. The other cool part of this trailer is it's got hydraulic jacks on it. So they're manual, but they're also hydraulic. There's a little button down here. Let's see if I can show you this guy here. And you can see the arm, and that works well. The winch is detachable up there. I have it locked onto the trailer so nobody can steal it. Your spare sits up top. So if you're interested in just the trailer, like I said, I would be willing to sell that first. If I sell the truck first, I can't move the trailer. And honestly, if I can't sell the trailer, I won't sell the truck. I'm just not using it that much. We just had a baby. And this last trip to Iowa kind of proved to me that I don't really want to be away from home. At least not while he's really young. So that's that. So, okay, so notable things to this truck. It's all stock in the sense that it's never been chipped. I don't believe in chips. I think you can get a lot of miles out of these Dodge. I had another Dodge that I retired a few years ago. It was an 03. This is an 04, so pretty much the same thing. And it had over 800,000 miles on it. No joke, on the original everything. So, okay, this originally came with an NV5600. I also had an '06 Dodge that had the G56. There's a big debate on what's better. I prefer the G56, so I put that in here. I went out, and it's out of that '08, that same one I got that dually out of. That was a rollover, and had 90,000 miles on it, and it's been flawless ever since. I truly believe that's the tranny to go with. But there are people out there who are firm believers in the 5600. I'm not going to debate that. That's, you know, to each his own kind of thing. I like the G56. That's what this one has. It's a 6-speed manual transmission. I think that's a big notable thing. You know, the 2500 is nice because you're going to pay lower taxes and not pay the dually class, but you get the dually out of it. I mean, as far as registration is concerned, it's a 2500 truck. And in my state, that matters with the weight of the truck and how they classify for tax purposes. So you kind of get under the radar with that stuff. So I've never had to pull through scales, but I don't run commercial stuff. It's usually my own stuff. Actually, it's always my own stuff. So you can always do that if you want. That shouldn't be an issue. I can't imagine why. So back to that, it's all stock, meaning that it's never been chipped. I firmly believe not to chip these. If you want to chip it, by all means, go for it. Now, let's see what we've done in the past couple of years. It's really good for this truck. Okay, I did injectors 3 years ago when I moved from Denver to Grand Junction. I had one that was bad. It was a 6.1. I decided just to go ahead and do them all. I went with Bosch original injectors. I put a new turbo on it at that time. It's a BD turbo. It's one size over from stock, so I didn't want something super aggressive. I wanted to make sure. I basically called them, said, hey, I'm towing with this thing. I don't want anything crazy. I want reliability, durability. Give me what you got. And he said, okay, let's just go with one size bigger. That'll help you with your towing and whatnot. So I did that. That's got that's on there. And then also I did a BD exhaust brake, which is super cool. You can activate it all the time. It deactivates when you hit the gas pedal. Super cool. It activates when you let off the gas. But I usually don't run it like that. I prefer to flip the switch when I'm going down a hill, and I can control it that way. So that's been done. I just put airbags on it. I don't know why I didn't do that years ago. That was an awesome modification. I did that when I went to Iowa. So it's got the upgraded with the bump stops in them, the airlift, so good brand. And those are obviously in the rear, and it's got cool little ports. We made them. We didn't put the filler on it, although that is probably something that if I end up keeping this truck, I'll do, because I want to be able to do it on the fly. But here you got, that's your right side, that's your left side. You know, you check them there and fill it up and blah blah blah. So no rust on this thing. It's got a couple dings on it. You know, there's a little bit of a mark there. I don't remember what I did. I think I sideswiped something, but anyway, but it's not bad. A little paint pen would cover the bare metal up. And then of course you got where the rocks kind of come up. You can get mud flaps and protect that there. These don't look good tires. They're actually good tires on here. It's just they're caked in mud right now. So there's that. I mean, those tires are probably 2 years old, and they're 10 ply. I go with the good tires, you know, safe tires and stuff. So let's see, front end wise, I upgraded the front tie rod system and that was 2 years ago, and I believe that's the 07 or 08, I can't remember, or maybe even 2012. It's whatever they recommend for that. Steering stabilizers, it's probably a good idea to put some control arm bushings on it. I've never done on it. I typically go through steering stabilizers about every 6 months. I buy them from Rough Country because they're cheap, and we have an account through them for my shop, and they'll warranty them pretty well. So you can do what I've always done and just do that if you start getting a little bit of bumps here. But if not, that's the only thing I haven't done is the control arm bushings. It's the only thing under there that hasn't been replaced. It does have the only oil leak is a valve cover right now, and I did that when I did the injectors, and it should have lasted longer, but it is seeping a little bit right now. I'm not having to add oil and oil changes, but it is there. I run Lucas in it. I'm a firm believer in that stuff as well, and and usually an additive, a good additive in the diesel fuel to keep the injectors lubricated. I haven't gone through Injectors like a lot of people have. Doesn't have a lot of miles, but nonetheless. When we went to Iowa, we also redid the bearings in the rear on this axle on both sides. They weren't terrible, but we were in there checking them, replacing fluid in the diff and that. So we did that, and we did brakes. So it's got 2 new rotors on the rear, and obviously pads as well. And we replaced the rotors. I didn't have them turned, so brand new rotors and pads as of 2 weeks ago. And it's middle of January right now, so 2021. Okay, flatbed. The lights on the flatbed are kind of goofy. We put LEDs on it, and I didn't put the resistor ball, or there's a relay or something you're supposed to put in those, so they get that right side gets a weird blink. But I've just been lazy and never done it. And since I usually have a trailer on it, my trailer lights work good. That's that. When I first got this trailer, I turned and smashed my 2 pockets. The rest of them are fine, but those guys there, I hit a light pole, and it just folded those in. And again, I've never fixed it. Didn't really do much to the rail. It's kind of a little bit bent in there, but it didn't affect. I mean, it's a straight trailer. That didn't do anything as far as the bend. It's got a nice ribbing down below, so you can you can put a lot of weight on this trailer. It helped me move from Denver up here. It used to have drive-up ramps on it. I pulled them off and hooked them. They made the trailer a lot heavier, and I couldn't fit on narrow Jeeps on it, which is why I bought this. I was hauling Wranglers. That's primarily what I've used it for. Wranglers weigh about 3,500 pounds a pop, and I usually, in a 36-foot trailer, believe it or not, I can fit, they're 12 feet exactly. I can fit them nose to nose and get 3 on here. That's the only vehicle you can probably do that on, a 36-foot trailer. I hung off a little bit, but not terrible, and it worked really well for me. And since it didn't weigh a lot, I never pushed the limits on this trailer, although you could definitely get a lot more weight on it than that. So I think that's it. I'm probably missing something I've done to it. So I upgraded the transmission. That was back when I did injectors and the axle. So the axle and the tranny at this point, I did that, I think there was about 200K on the truck. It was right before I started moving from my Denver yard. So there's about 60,000 more miles on those. They had 90 on them, so we're probably about $150 on the rear axle and transmission. I just changed the fluid in that. It's good to do periodic maintenance on those, and you got to run the good fluid in those. They're Mopar fluid only. Brakes on the front were done 2 years ago. It doesn't, I mean, literally, I swear to you, you could jump in this truck and you could drive to Alaska tomorrow, and I guarantee it will get you there and back. It is a very, very reliable truck. It has never given me a bit of issue as far as that stuff. I mean, I've done normal stuff on it. I've had to put on power steering lines, and it's got like a Hydro Boost in it, water pumps, yeah, that kind of crap, but nothing major that has been done to it, or accident. It's clean title. Matter of fact, this truck has been in my family since it's been brand new. It was at my dad's company. They bought it at the pipeline company he worked for, and they just use it for getting around people. It had a white bed on it. The bed had resin and shit in it, so I pulled that off and threw a flatbed on it, and then I put the dually on. So I mean, literally, I can tell you from the day that this thing rolled off the lot in Denver to as long as I've had it. And I bought it from him in 2016, I want to say, maybe 2015, somewhere in there. So I think that's it. Again, if I figure out something, I'll put it in there, but that's it. I want 20 grand for the setup for both, and I think they're well worth it. And the reason I want to do that for whomever's doing it, and this is a big plus, because when I was looking at hauling a long time ago, this is like 10 years ago with my other truck, I had enough money to get a loan on a truck, but I didn't have enough extra money to get a trailer. And I believe you can get a loan for close to that. You may have to come up a little bit. I'm not sure. It depends on what the book on this truck is right now. But you can get a loan on potentially both items. And the way to do it is, obviously, you don't tell the bank you're getting a trailer. You just tell them you're getting a truck. and you get as much as you can. They'll put a value on it, and you know, obviously based on your credit. But and if you have the cash sitting around, then by all means. If you just want to buy the trailer, I don't even know what I want to sell just the trailer for. I mean, I spent, I think, when back in the day, I spent like 10.5 on it, and it was used. So maybe a little bit less than that, but not a lot. It's just a good, solid, really well built trailer. And those fenders are drive up on. They're real. That's what the other guy had done. He just made they were just too wide though. So, but you could go back to some sort of ramp and go right up on those. So, and then you could always throw something up here. I mean, a lot of these guys put decks up here now. So, anyway, I think that does it. Feel free to ask me anything. No joke. I mean, I just feel like there's something I'm missing that I've done to this. Oh, I know what I did. It's got a rebuilt transfer case in it. 2 years ago. Is that 2? Yeah, about maybe a year and a half ago, actually. Yeah, the year before my son was born. We did a transfer case in it. So I had a local shop build it for me. And so that's upgraded. And mine had a crack in it. I don't know how I did it, but I did. So I have it's a completely new case and everything. We ordered that from Mopar and had new guts and everything put in it. So really not much you're going to do to, I don't think you're going to do anything to it. I mean, unless you want to chip it, I guess you could do that. And my EGTs, oh, by the way, that's something else. I have a gauge in it. Okay. That's not a computer chip. You can't modify the performance of it, but it's an edge, whatever they call them. And it's got the EGT hookup on it. So it monitors everything, which is crucial on this truck. Well, in any truck, but I've never had this truck EGTs above 1230, 1240. That's about the most. And that's really rare that even that happens in it. But, you know, you get the coolant temperature is not as important. That'll fluctuate specifically while you're towing. But the EGTs, those are the big guys. You don't want to cook that because that will cook your motor. So, okay. Yeah. Thanks for watching and spending almost 20 minutes of your life with me.